to look afresh at performance assessments. Teachers deserve more credit when they've helped a child to make significant progress, irrespective of how that child fares in their threshold exams. So we'll be pursuing these ideas further in the imminent Making Good Progress pilots. We want to examine how your internal judgments can be better interwoven with external tests, helping to track and support each child's progress with minimal extra burdens. We're planning the implementation of the pilot, including the evaluation, very carefully, and we'll continue to work closely with Mary and the Workforce Agreement Monitoring Group as part of our cautious and measured approach. We simply can't afford to get this exciting opportunity wrong. The third thing we must do is ensure that our education system offers a wider range of opportunities. 14 has long been the age when many children become demotivated and disengaged, mentally dropping out then before physically leaving school 2 years later. We need a rich and diverse curriculum which instills in all young people a love of learning as well as the skills they need for a fulfilling life. Apprenticeships will be one important choice. The number of apprenticeships has already trebled since 1997. In the future, any young qualified person who wants to be an apprentice should have a guaranteed apprenticeship place. That means an additional 90,000 apprenticeships just for 16 to 18-year-olds over the next 6 years, and 500,000 apprenticeships by 2020 in accordance with Lord Leach's recommendations. Diplomas also provide an exciting new dimension, creating the mix of theoretic and practical qualifications that we've lacked in this country for so long. Diplomas represent the most radical educational development taking place anywhere in the world, according to the QCA, and I think they're right. And I was delighted with the high quality of the applications for the gateway process and the successful consortia that will provide the first 5 diplomas next year. GCSEs, A-levels, greater access to the International Baccalaureate will all add to the range of choices, with all of these qualifications providing an opportunity for young people to lift their sights while also providing essential grounding in English, maths and ICT. When all of this rich variety is in place, we'll ensure that students remain in education or training, full or part-time, at school or college or in the workplace up to age 18. I recently published a green paper setting out ways in which we might achieve this historic quest, something that's been part of legislation since 1918, that was in the Butler Great Reforms of the post-war settlement, but never actually implemented. We're now in the process of qualification, but of consultation, but this policy will marry up economic imperative with social progress in the knowledge economy of the 21st century. A 16-year-old at work without qualifications or training should be as unacceptable as sending 14-year-olds out to work has now become. As I've repeatedly emphasized, this is not about chaining children to their desks studying the fundamental theories of calculus. Tempting though that might be the result of a further green paper, but it's not about keeping children in the classroom. It's about unleashing each pupil's potential in a direction that suits them, whether that is studying applied maths or tourism, studying engineering or philosophy, taking an apprenticeship or moving on to an intermediate diploma. Young people at 16 and 17 may well opt to work, and all will have the chance to experience the workplace as part of our 14 to 19 reforms. But post-16, we'll ensure that their job is combined with in-house or day-release accredited training, so that as well as earning a wage, they and their employer are also investing in their future. Although the media focused on what sanctions might be applied when we publish the Green Paper, this is not at the heart of our reforms. We want to inspire and enthuse young people to stay on in education before we need to look at measures to cajole and compel. I've also heard the argument that this will deter the Richard Bransons or Alan Sugars of the future. The first point to make is that if all our youngsters were leaving school to start a business, then we wouldn't have a problem. But they're not, and we need to create the skilled workforce which Branson, Sugar, et al. Will need to operate in business successfully. But there's a more important point, and it's this. Diplomas actually provide a perfect route for the entrepreneurs of the future. In his autobiography, Richard Branson lamented how he was sidelined, his own words, at school because he was, and I quote, unable to cope with academic work. He tells of his ingenious head teacher, impressed by his evident promise, who gave him the freedom to start up a national magazine for schoolboys. As the magazine took off, the young Branson dropped almost all of his subjects. He successfully forged his own way outside of the curriculum, creating what may be seen in hindsight as his own diploma, but not everyone will have that luck or support or determination. Richard Branson's head teacher predicted that Branson would either end up as a millionaire or a prisoner. In his case, I think it was the former. The sad truth is that leaving school at 16 increases the likelihood of young men falling into drug use and a life of crime. By improving the choices available for every young student, we'll be able to inspire more people to stay on in education or training, improving their prospects and reducing the risk of falling into a cycle of unemployment and despair. So these then are the three main principal areas of educational reform that we will pursue. The delivery of those reforms will require two things. For government, it requires that we continue to listen, discuss, and be prepared to amend our approach within our increasingly robust social partnership. From your point of view, delivering these reforms calls for greater collaboration between schools and external partners. No single school will be capable of delivering diplomas or extended services alone. Many of you already will have networks with external partners. Some of you may use the trust model to formalise and stabilise these sometimes long-standing relationships. Collaboration brings improved results, as Excellence in Cities has shown, with attainment and attendance up, truancy and exclusions down. We are committed to working together, taking the tough decisions, avoiding the easy options. We won't always agree, of course we won't, but we'll always remain committed to resolving our disagreements because we share the same noble objective: to make our education system the best in the world, giving every child the finest possible start in life. My contribution, Stuart, can never be as great as yours. Individually and collectively, you are a credit to your profession. It's my privilege to work with you and to serve in what I do believe is the most rewarding job in Whitehall. Thank you.